Okay. So look, I'm really excited for this one, and I'm appreciative of both your time. And yeah, I guess the idea here was, obviously I kind of reached out on Instagram to see if there were any people who needed help on building our sales process, and by way of like the last episode that I did with Harry, where he's an absolute expert at this stuff, I thought it'd be cool to get together, Harry and someone who needed the help on the sales process and see what comes of it. So this is it's an experiment. We're going to see how it goes, but I'm pretty confident that this is going to be of value. So you guys have never met each other. This is the first time you're meeting, and I've known Harry for a little while. Cassandra, I've just met the last couple of weeks as well. So this is going to be really cool. So I think let's start off with Harry. Why don't you just introduce yourself, your business, and then Cass, I'll get you to do the same, and then we'll kind of open it up.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that, Calvin. My name's Harry Rizk. I am a sales coach and I'm a director of a business called Elite Sales Coaching. My predominant focus is helping people with accountability and sales processes. I've been in sales for 15 years. I live in Cogra. I'm married. I've got 3 kids. I love sports and video games. That's me.
It's a well-rounded introduction.
Oh, that was so prepared.
Cass, what about you?
Yeah, I'm Cassandra. I run Dream Big Marketing. We're a social media agency that focuses on conversions. So creating strategic content using a funnel-based approach and getting leads and sales through strategic content.
Yeah,
Oh,
awesome.
and I like riding motorbikes, and I'm getting married in November, and I don't have the spiel that Harry does.
No, that's all good. That's all good. All right, great. So look, as I said, the idea here is to really like craft a sales process and to understand, Cass, from your perspective, like currently where your business sits, what kind of sales process you have implemented in your business. And if there is one, great, then we can, kind of work on it. And if not, we can build it kind of from scratch. So I think like Harry, why don't we start with you? Like obviously you do these consults a lot. So why don't we just kind of like go into the initial kind of phase of like how you break it all down, and we'll just brainstorm it from there.
Yeah, no worries. So there's a few things that we want to try and unpack first, just to get started and get clarity on what we're trying to work towards. And the very first thing is naturally aligned to some form of goals.
Mm.
So we need to try and understand, you've got an organization called Dream Big Marketing. Where is it going? Where do you want to get to? What's the ideal state? Once we have an understanding of that, we begin the reverse engineering process from a sales point of view on how we're going to get you there. And so I think the very first step is to try and get a bit of an understanding of the goals from a revenue point of view, growth point of view, however you like, Cassandra. So I'll leave that with you.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, well, it's in the name, Dream Big, and I am dreaming big. I started my business so that I could have 5 kids. I've got 2 years potentially to make it a seven-figure big business, 3-ish years, 2.5-ish years. That's the goal. That's the long-term goal if we're looking futuristic. If we're looking sort of 12 months time, I'd like to bring on 2 to 3 new employees. And my intention is to build a team where I have myself at the top, obviously as the director and the CEO, and then underneath me, I have potentially 2 social media managers. And underneath them, I have like 1 content creator each. So I sort of have 2 separate teams, the same positions across the 2, top level and the bottom level, but they can just go out and service different people. So a little bit about my business. We go and create content for businesses, mainly service providers. We go out and do content shoots. We do all of the market research beforehand, create the strategy, create the shoot list based on what's performing in their niche and in style of content at that point in time. We create it, we edit it, we distribute it, we manage the socials in terms of stories and in terms of posts and community engagement. So we take care of everything. That's like our hero service, if you like. We do the ad hoc shoots. Either way, it would still need to be that social media manager and the content creator and editor for that service. So that's sort of the goal in the team structure where I'd like to get to. And then the longer term vision of the reason or the why behind the business. I don't like to position us as an agency. I actually really prefer to position us as partners in growth. That is sort of our sweet spot and the conversion piece for our social content. And that's sort of what we're finding with all the clients at the moment. Like we've got a great retainer of clients. We haven't really got a big churn rate. And obviously the goal is to help grow the business to the point where maybe they do need to bring someone in-house, all good. But what we're hearing so far is that we really fit into the team. So that's a bit about us and a bit about where we want to get to. Is that enough information?
Yeah, so there's a lot of qualitative information there. I want to try and quantify a bit of it because for us to
Mm-hmm.
get to the goal, what we want to do is reverse engineer the numbers. So you
Okay.
mentioned two people, right? Now let's imagine ideal state. You've got these two people, the social media managers, they've got the content creators underneath them, right? What does that look like in terms of capacity for the clientele you've got on? And
Mm.
also in that answer, can you tell me what the client is worth from a, let's say you might put them on a retainer model at
Mm-hmm.
a certain amount per month. Can you tell me about what the capacity would look like there and
Yep.
what you would charge?
Yeah. So per client, if we're just going like basic in terms of our packages, I would say roughly 2.5K a month is what they would
Mhm.
be looking to pay. It does vary based on like posting frequency and channel, but if we're just going with like a generic figure, and then in terms of capacity, so really I'd like to have, I mean, within 12 months, I'd like to have 2 employees, but I'd really like to get it to that 4 point where I have two in each position. So I've got two teams of the social media manager and the content creator and editor underneath. So four in total, excluding me, five including me. And I'd like them, the teams, to be able to manage potentially on a monthly basis anywhere between 12 and 15 clients.
Across four people.
No,
Is that
across
right?
two.
Oh,
Across
sorry,
two. So if
12.
there's two, yeah, so 12 people per social media manager and content editor. That content editor is a more junior position. And then if I have the two teams, that's in total potentially 30 clients on a monthly basis
Okay, cool.
across the four.
So let's say that by the end of the year, if we went for a 12-month goal, that we
Mm-hmm.
want to go from where we are to
Yep.
30 clients. Is that right?
Yep. That'd be fair.
Perfect. How many
Because at the
clients do we
moment,
have?
sorry.
No, go on. I was going to say, how many do you have at the moment?
I think we're on the same wavelength. At the moment, I am acting as that social media manager and I have my content creator underneath me. So I am doing that team and we have 12, 13 clients, I want to say. So I
Beautiful.
know that that capacity, if I was to replace me and then duplicate it, I know that we would be able to do that 30 client a month sort of mark.
Perfect. So the very first thing we've discovered is that we need to onboard another 17 clients within 12 months, right?
Yeah.
So this is a really easy process in terms of the goal setting part, because what we need to do now, and part of sales process is about identifying what input we need to do on a daily basis to get that end output. So
Mm,
so step one, we go, okay, our target is 17. Now, to get to 17, let's imagine in an ideal state, we've onboarded 17 and they've signed. How many meetings or pitches, presentations do we need to do to win 17 people to sign up?
mm. Yeah. So if I go based on experience, and I don't think, if I'm being transparent, I don't think I can, because for me, I have two meetings and I sign the client. The way that I've been working so far is I offer a strategy audit or a strategy workshop where I can like give them an hour free of my time. And in that session, I really sort of not necessarily rip apart, but I point out the opportunities on their channels where we could support them and I give them a PDF document afterwards. And I know that everyone says don't offer your services for free or strategy for free or whatever. I get that. But also for me, I would say my conversion rate of that is like 90%. Like pretty much everyone that I have met through that have offered that service to, I have signed on board the next meeting because it's an opportunity to present my abilities to create tangible impact for their business. So that's two meetings that I have had if I go
Can I
based on
just ask? I
experience.
know where Harry's going with this. Just Harry, before you jump in, do you have that data as like a truth of source? Like, do you know, like as a fact that your close rate's about 50%? Is that something that you track?
It's higher. It's like for everyone that I've met through that avenue, I think there's only one that I haven't signed.
Okay,
It's like I can pretty much with confidence say if I can talk to someone and present it in that manner, I can sign them.
got you.
Okay. So let's presume, based on what you're saying, that you need to have 20 meetings to sign 17 people up, right?
Yeah. But
All right.
yes.
How do we get in front? Sorry, go on, Cassandra.
I was going to say though, that is, and this is where I really am so excited to talk to you. I don't have a sales process in place where I'm getting people into those meetings. Everyone that I've gotten in, it's easy for me to convert and to showcase opportunity, but I don't know how many people I need to touch to get the 20 meetings to then get the 17 closes, if you know what I mean.
And that's what we're trying to reverse engineer here.
Mm.
So my next question was going to be, how do we get in front of those 20 people? What's your regular process that you currently follow to get in
Mhm.
front of those 20? Because it sounds to me like once they're in front of you, your actual presentation of what you do is pretty well thought out in a process. It's a two-stage process or two meetings that you're delivering quality and value. How do we get in front of 20 people? What's that process look like for you now?
At the moment, I don't have one, which is why I am so excited to be here. But to tell you a little bit about what I've done or how I've gotten clients so far. So from a like business development side of things, I have formed partnership with industry peers. So we're a social media agency. I don't touch websites. I don't touch graphic designs. I've got partners in that space. I don't touch SEO, same thing. And I've got partnerships where we sort of refer businesses to one another. We're all sort of similar stages. And that has been a great opportunity to get in front of potential clients. And then as well as that, I go to like a lot of networking events, which gives me the opportunity to sort of speak, which is where I think a strong suit is. It sort of relates back to that whole strategy workshop where I can talk and then I can give that value. People understand it. And then in terms of like inbound, I obviously post a lot of content to my channel, which gets a lot of DMs and inquiries through that avenue. There's not at the moment anything outbound. Like I tried to run it was a big learning for me. I tried to run a lead gen ad, which was quite successful. It was a month worth of free content and the basics behind forming a strategy of social media strategy. But what I found was I was attracting an audience that was very interested in doing like a DIY. They weren't necessarily wanting to put capital behind it. And I think that would have been fine if I was in a position to dedicate resources to the nurturing via emails. I have automated emails going out, but I'm not in a position where I think it's of value for me to be sending out a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly EDM where my focus is on other channels. So I sort of stopped that because I had that learning. But aside from those developments that I'm telling you, and also I like DM people. Lol. I like actually send people messages and like screenshots of like the work that I do and the results that we get. Aside from that, there's nothing that's working in the back end for me.
So I want to ask you something. What's stopping you right now from doing cold calling?
I'm a fucking bitch. I can't put that in, but
I love that.
Oh no! Listen,
Truth.
the honest truth that's the thing that
Right.
stops the majority of people. This is what Harry's going to talk about now.
So
You're not alone in that.
bang on, right? And this is good because, Calvin and I talked about this last time. There's generally a number of excuses we use as to why we don't do it, but those three excuses always tie into this one element called fear, which is the us being a bitch, right? And that's what we
It
are.
is.
We get
I'm
scared, we
such a
get
little bitch
nervous.
about it. But the thing is,
Okay.
like, I tried. Okay, here we go. I tried. And man, I sucked. Like, I'm good at content, but I am not good at this whole. I called someone and I was like, do you have social media agency? They're like, no, I don't believe in socials. And I was like, all right, have a good day. Bye.
All right.
Like, what am I meant to say to that, man?
Let's have a bit of fun here, Cassandra, right? Who
Okay.
knows your business better than you?
No one.
No one, right?
Mm,
I've known you for what? 14 minutes?
mm,
Cool. Watch this.
okay.
You're a random person.
All right. Do
Ring
you want me
ring.
to like object? Okay, yeah.
Be my guest.
Okay, all right.
Ring ring. Hello, is this
Yes.
Cassandra?
Yes.
Cassandra, my name's Harry. I'm calling from Dream Big Marketing. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm a bit busy though.
Oh, I bet you are. Bet you are. A bit of a random one. Do you know Calvin?
Yeah, I do
From
actually.
Yeah, awesome. Well, actually, I work very closely with Calvin, and your name popped up a few days ago. And he recommended I just reach out to you and connect, see if there's some synergies for us to maybe do something together.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, again, this isn't sort of for anyone. He just recommended it. But you haven't heard of us before, have you?
No.
No. Basically, what we do, Dream Big Marketing, we focus on creating content. So we basically handle four things: strategy, which is the crux of what you're going to develop. We then film, edit, host, and manage. Our focus is about creating really good brands for good brands that are out there that just haven't been exposed to the world yet. And I've been working with a few clients recently where we've transformed what they did. And then Calvin's been involved in some of this, and he goes, "You know what, Harry? You need to call Cassandra." Now, Cassandra, I don't know you from bar of soap, and I don't know whether this will even work for you. All I want to do is see if you're open to having a coffee in the next week or two. I can show you what we do in detail. And if you find alignment, we can work together. And if you don't find alignment, you can throw the coffee in my face and say, "Harry, piss off."
Sounds good. I could go for coffee if you're buying.
Done. Done. House Thursday next week, 4:30.
Yeah, sounds good.
Done. I'll send you an invitation now. What was your best email address, Cassandra?
Cassandra, dreambigmarketing.com.au.
Bang.
But
Now, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, but you had a warm intro there, right?
Okay, cool. Let's pretend we don't know Calvin.
No,
What?
I don't
No,
want to
no,
know.
so let me prove a point to you. So we don't know Calvin, right?
Mhm.
We don't have a mutual connection. Hey, Cassandra, have you heard of Google?
Yes.
No shit, right? I was at the Google office last week and we're talking about this thing, and someone there goes, "Oh, Dream Big Marketing. They'd love this stuff." It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to hook you.
Mm.
Once you're hooked, you're listening. Once you're listening, I can deliver my value proposition non-intrusively and give you a walkaway offer. Now, what's important in this is all I did here, Cassandra, is follow four steps. And this is called a process. This is called a pitch process, which is called an introduction, a hook, a pitch, and a walkaway offer. So I just did this on a brand I've known for 14 minutes. Imagine what you could do if you had a process. And I'll tell you why I am confident that you are going to nail this. When we started this introduction and you were telling me about your organization, I was scribbling down notes. You have sold your business to me. It's brilliant. What you do is brilliant. And so the only missing link here is, okay, cool. How many businesses right now, Cassandra, need what you've got, don't even know you exist? And
Yeah.
so this is where we got to try and resolve this from a sales process point of view. And so I know you said, like, you're scared about cold calling and all the rest, but if you write out a pitch, if you develop a process to doing this, and I'll help you do this, all you've got to do is execute upon it, which is picking up the phone and reading it. Because all I did there was look down at my notes and sort of read what I had written. And I did this on the fly, right? I'm not you. You are way better than me at selling your business.
Mm.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
It does make sense. I just feel, and I am not in sales at all, and have no experience with sales at all.
Mm.
I just, when I get a cold call, I'm just like so not open to it, you know? I feel like you get people in the middle of the day, like they're in the middle of their own thing. And I guess that's where that sort of hook comes in. I mean, because that's what we do on socials. We obviously
Hmm.
have a hook that keeps people past that 3 second mark. So, yeah,
You
I
know,
I
think
think,
Cassandra, and I think Calvin will agree with this. The truth of the matter is 90% of salespeople suck. They're shit. That's just I'm sorry, that's the truth. I
Yeah.
exist because I'm trying to help people sell.
Mm,
Salespeople are not like a version of specific human beings that were born only to do that. You're a salesperson. Sales is about problem solving. You've got this brilliant company that wants to grow and flourish. You are generating revenue for your business. Revenue is sales. So you're a
yeah.
salesperson. You just don't know it. I think what we typically brand as salespeople, well, these guys suck. People call me up now and goes, "Hey, we got this solar panel special, blah, 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 blah." We hang up. If someone calls me up and goes, "Hey, Harry, are you still at Rawson Avenue?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." He goes, "Dude, I'm having a look at your roof. You don't have panels on there. Have you thought about saving some money on your bill?" Just a question. Got me. I'm like, "Yeah, well,
yeah,
how much can I save? How much can I save?" I go, "Bro, give me 1 sec. Let me do a quick thing. Let me just measure your roof, whack a few panels on there, and I'll tell you right now. And if it's a good saving, rock and roll. And if it isn't, bro, hang up." This guy's got me. You know, and again, I deal with a lot of people in multiple trades, and you see the ones that are absolutely killing solar sales. They just
Yeah.
got good process. It's all the same product, right?
Mm.
It's just about how they connect with people, and this is what we're referring to the process. So I'll turn it to Calvin because I sort of interrupted him rudely before. So
No, I think there's a few kind of just little takeaways for me to kind of interject on. I think the way that I'm looking at this, just from like an outside looking in, and this is the perfect kind of scenario. I think there's two things that I'm taking away here. The first is from a I'm not a salesperson standpoint. Like I always have the opinion that some people are born with the talent and the skill to be a good salesperson, and some aren't. And even the ones that aren't can still learn how to sell by way of process, which is what Harry's kind of talking about. But I think when I look at you, when I look at your energy, when I look at the way that you connect with people, like that is a salesperson. Now all you need behind that is the ability to have a process that allows you to get to the sale kind of thing. So that's just the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say before Harry kind of continues, like on the cold calling front, and I'd like to talk about other areas outside of cold calling because I think there's a lot of opportunity for you, considering the fact that you only really need to have at your current close rates 30 meetings in 12 months. You know, it's a very small frequency of meetings. I have that amount of meetings in a month to close what I need to close. But what I would say is, you know, that calling people in the middle of the day and getting hung up on, or people are busy, or whatever it is, what it all comes down to is just the numbers. Because if you do that 5 times, 5 people might hang up on you. But if you do it 100 times, then 5 people might answer out of the 100. And of the 5 that answer, 2 might be interested. And you only need to meet those 2 to close one. You know,
Mm.
so if you start thinking about it with that kind of mindset, it becomes a different kind of ball game. And I think that's where Harry's going to go next.
yeah, you're bang on, Calvin. And this is interesting because the point I was making earlier about the reverse engineering is that very quickly, I know, like, it's interesting because in your frame of mind, and this is a paradigm problem you've got, Cassandra, that you're not even aware of. In your frame of mind, you're thinking that your growth is going to take 12 months. But based on the numbers you just gave me, you can technically achieve this within 2 months.
I agree.
Ooh.
And really, truly, you know, when we're done this podcast and when we're done this discussion, I'll connect with you and I'll literally map this whole thing out for you in greater detail, right? But basically, all we've got to do is get in front of 20 people. Now, to get in front of 20 people, the previous question I would naturally ask is, how many phone calls do we have and connect with people in order to get 20 people to sit in front of us? Now, just randomly, let's just say we take a random example in terms of the line of work you do. I reckon 1 in 4 we'll say, you know what? Yeah, I'll have a coffee with you, Cassandra. And here's the best part about your process that you're not even aware of. You don't need a presentation. You've already got one. It's world class.
Mm.
What you just explained earlier on is phenomenal. So you're not necessarily booking in a coffee. What you're booking in is you go, look, we're basically giving something away for free if you want it. And here's what it does. And there's no obligation. You get to the end of it and you want to work with us, great. You don't see alignment. Hey, take it, use it, see you later.
Mm.
Like, I actually think it'd be so much more than 1 in 4, but let's just say 1 in 4. So go, great. We need to have 4 conversations to book one meeting. Well, how do we have 4 conversations? We're going to make 20 phone calls. So you make 20 dials, 4 people will answer.
Mm.
Of those 4, remember the majority will reject you. Rejection's not abuse, Cassandra. And this is where we make it, this is where we have an issue. We think rejection's abuse. It's not. It's, look, Cassandra, thank you very much. I'm not interested. That's not abuse.
Mm.
And that's what you'll get with those 3. You will rarely cop abuse. I've been cold calling for years. I get abused like twice a year. And I know that it's twice a year because usually I call my hitman and say, hey, there's a person I need you to take out. Right? We can edit this part out, right, Calvin? But
I
you get
might
my
need the
point.
number of your hitmen.
So it's not necessarily abuse, it's rejection. Now, if you're in
Mm.
the frame of mind and you go, okay, cool, today I'm doing 20 calls. I know 3 people are going to knock me back, and 1 is going to say, yes, we're going to have a meeting. Well, before we know it, Cassandra, we've got 4 meetings. In those four
Mm.
meetings, one of them is going to convert. Happy days. And oh,
How do
sorry, I
we?
beg your pardon. It's not even 4. It's for you. 20 meetings, 17 signed up. You can't do that in 2 months. I'll give you a limb.
How do I go about, and I'm sure we'll get into it, like getting numbers then?
There we go. So I've got a list of like how we reverse engineer this process. So remember, there's always three excuses as to why we don't do it.
Hmm.
The one of the reasons is I don't know what to say. Now we've covered that to some extent. Obviously, we can refine it. We got to make it sound like you. It's got to sound organic. We've got to have the right hooks. But that's the direction part. We need to know what we're saying. The second challenge is who do we call? And the who do we call part is a data mining exercise. So, one of the great things you mentioned earlier around marketing is that's where marketing steps in. Marketing's function is around lead generation and around data mining. And if you can plug into good tools and gather that data, you're going to fly. One of the tools I use is called Lusha, Lusha. It's fantastic. And what it is basically a database online where they scrape data and you can purchase it. So, for example, let's pretend Calvin didn't advertise his number publicly. You couldn't get it on Google, you couldn't get it on high pages, you couldn't get it on LinkedIn, right? It just wasn't available. You'd go on Lusha, type in CUB, find the organization, go through all the people, find Calvin, and there it is right in front of you, his mobile number. You use your credits to purchase it. Now, this is where you become strategic, Cassandra, because in your line of work, based on what you're telling me you do, you would have a particular niche of market that you're targeting.
Yeah.
So let's pretend that not that target is lawyers, just for argument's sake, family lawyers specifically, right? So you go,
Mm.
okay, cool. You go onto Lusha, you type in family law, family lawyers, and bang, the whole list comes through. And you start to narrow it down. You go, okay, I don't want everyone in the world. I want in Australia, in New South Wales, in Sydney. I want smaller law firms, not ginormous ones. And you niche it down and you go, there we go. There's 1,000 contacts. Pick 10, unlock those 10, put it out on a list. And then when it's time to call, which I'll talk about the time block in a second, just sit there and dial. And when you
Yep.
call through 10 people, like I said, 4 will answer, 1 will book a meeting with you. No problem.
I think this is another area where I might struggle with like my customer, because I mean, for me, my our service or our sort of unique offering is so transferable. At the moment, my customer is service providers within their like
Fantastic.
2 to 6 years of business, making roughly like 15K a month is roughly where we're sitting, right? But that is so broad that I'm like, how do I've got mortgage brokers, I've got
That,
physios, I've got like biomedical research companies. Like, how do I
I would argue
narrow that?
that that's a good thing because
Really?
it just broadens your ability to for reach out. I'll just add to what Harry's saying there because I think what's interesting about me and Harry, like I totally agree with everything that he says, and it's something that I try to put in practice and it works. I also have another way of doing it, and I think like speaking on both for your case would be interesting. I think the very cold outreach that Harry's talking about hugely valuable and should be done. But there's different parts to this as well, right? So you've spoken about like referral and inbound, which is where you've gotten the majority of your business now. There's another channel that I use a lot. Probably the majority of the business that I've won over the years has come through LinkedIn. And
Mm,
with LinkedIn, like the beauty of LinkedIn, and it's a bit of a patience game because like it takes time to get to this point. But the beauty with LinkedIn is you can go onto Sales Navigator, right? Which I don't know if you do or don't have, but
yeah.
you can go into Sales Navigator. You can put in professional services business or B2B service-based businesses within 5 kilometers of Sydney CBD with 5 to 25 employees. And those businesses are probably going to fall under that 15K a month revenue bracket. And
Mm,
so, and so then you get a list of all those people and all you can do every day, you can spend looking at that list and then adding as many people as possible, right? Just connecting with them. No message, no nothing, just connecting. And I think you get blocked now at like 100 connects per week. But then once you've connected with them all, say you've done 100 ads, 40 of them might accept you, right? Once they've accepted you, you then craft a nice message to them. You know, like it's the hook. It's the same thing. My hook is, hey, Cub connects thousands of entrepreneurs and business owners. You look like you've got a great business. I'd love to catch up with a coffee and show you how we might benefit you. And that's all it is. It's just, I just want to have a coffee with someone, same as Harry. We know that, like, and we'll get into the meeting later on, but like, once someone's in front of us and we've qualified the lead, like, the close rate is very high. So if you run that process consistently, and there's tools that can do it, or I'm an idiot, I still do it manually, but
You can use
there's a lot.
Dripify.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why I still do it manually, but I do. But to add those people, send messages to those people, then have a frequency, like a frequency of messaging. So it's a message, it's a follow up, and another follow up before you kind of close it for the next 6 months. Then you come back to it. Like, call it over the length of a month, of 400 people that you've added, and 150 people that have accepted your ad, and 150 messages that have gone out 3 times, how many of those people are actually going to be interested in the coffee with you? There's going to be enough to do the frequency of sales that you're looking to do. So this is another avenue, but again, like, there's a little part in there where if somebody expresses interest, again, it's about getting the phone number, picking up the phone, qualifying the lead, because it's important that, like, you're qualifying the lead on your side as well, right? Like, we're not just trying to aggressively sell to everyone. We need to make sure that that person's also the right fit to our business. So there's a process. Again, keep speaking about process. There's a process behind actually qualifying a lead. But getting that information, picking up the phone, gauging interest, qualifying the lead, and booking in a meeting, like, if you do that much volume, the results will happen. And I think both the cold calling and the LinkedIn side of things will benefit you massively.
They're good points. Yeah, I mean, I don't do either of them.
And that probably brings us to the third point, which is called I don't have time,
Yeah,
right? So there's
yeah.
always, remember that there's 3 excuses. The first one is I don't know what to say. The second one is I don't know who to call. And the third one is I don't have time, right?
Mm,
And we go, how do we fix these? Well, the first one, the data, what we say is the script, is the direction. The second one, the data, you use LinkedIn, you use Lucia, you use Google, you use white pages, high pages, yellow pages, any pages to get people's data. And then the last thing is I don't have time. Time is the biggest excuse we make by far. And what you've got to do is find a way to time block a bare minimum on a daily basis if you're serious about growing.
mm.
Because in the future, you'll probably never have the capacity to do this again. And so if we said right now, Cassandra, could you allocate half an hour per day just to call people and find new
Yeah,
business?
of course I could.
There we go. So all you have to do now is allocate half an hour. And in the dialogue you're delivering, your phone call will never go for more than 3 minutes. You have my
Mm,
guarantee on that. Why? Because the substance of what you're selling is never on the phone, it's in the meeting.
mm,
All we're trying to do is say, hey, let's grab that coffee. So you'll do that in 3 minutes. Now, if you time it, if you make 10 phone calls and 4 people answer, 3 minutes a pop, what's that? 15 minutes?
mm.
Right? A few gaps in between. Sorry, it's not 15 minutes, 12 minutes. I failed math at school. Hence why
I'm
I'm a
in
sales coach,
content.
right?
Don't do the
So,
maths. Yeah.
but my point being is you allocate half an hour, it's plenty of time to get through those 10. And you go, great. So if you did 10 and then 10 and then 10 and then 10 across a week, it's 5 call blocks. If you're booking 1 meeting per call block, there's 5 meetings. Now,
Yeah.
Cassandra, you said if I book 20 meetings, I'll convert 17.
Mm,
5, 10, 15, 20. That's 1 month. You don't need a year to grow your business. You need a
mm,
month doing
yeah.
half an hour a day. Now, here's my challenge to you, and I want you to take this on board. If you do exactly as I just instructed you and do half an hour per day and use the right dialogue and time block and use the right data, and you
Hmm.
fail miserably in 4 weeks, yeah,
Yeah.
I will let you discredit me for the rest of your life.
I don't get any joy out of that. Can I have something
Well,
fun?
let's do something worse than that, right?
He
I
likes
was
to
going to
give his
offer
limbs
me,
away.
I've still got all of mine, Calvin, so I'm in a good position. But do you get my point,
I
Cassandra?
get your point, yeah.
So it really is like from all the excuses we make, and they're all valid. Like I said, we justify these because we're human. We're going off our instinct. But if we really allocate just a minimal time per day, have the right direction, and actually
Yeah.
have the correct data, nothing's really stopping us. We'll do it. And then the challenge becomes, do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? And if you do it, Cassandra, you'll be better for it.
Can I ask a question? Two questions, three questions, because I asked if I could ask. Is there like September now, end of September almost? Is this the right time? Like, are people still signing on new business? This is my first year of business, right? I always thought everyone like sort of fucked off around this time and no one really paid
Good question.
attention. And then
Good
the
Yeah.
question.
second one is time blocking, right? In a
Mm.
calendar. When is the best time of the day to call someone? Is it on lunchtime? But then people are out at lunchtime. But then if you call them in the morning, like they've just got into work, they don't want to hear from you. Like, when do you do it?
That's such
So
a great
Harry,
question.
can I just speak on the time of year thing before you jump in? So I think that's a really good question. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong in your like your assumption that people do start to fuck off. But and the other thing that people always say at this time of year is like, should I wait? You know what? Like I'm interested, I'm keen, but like why not wait until next year? You know,
Yeah.
like we'll start fresh. It's January. Like let's do it then. So the way I look at this is basically like I think you always need to take kind of ownership of your own kind of process on this stuff. And what this comes down to is creating levers of urgency. And like that is something that like I think needs to be done in every month, regardless of the month. So like you need to come up with reasons for people to pay you now. And that might be by way of like, I mean, we never do discounts, but some people do discounts. Some people offer better payment plans. Some people offer additional value. Like there's 100 different things that you can kind of workshop to say like, look, I understand you want to sign with me in January. However, like we're coming into summer. This is the time when people are much happier. They're happy to buy. They're happy to spend money. We know this by way of general sentiment. That's opportunity cost on your side. If you give me the opportunity to work with me now, I will give you an additional X, Y, and Z. But you need to sign now. You know, so like it's creating levers of urgency to try and add additional value so that people are more inclined. And then this is something that I say to my sales team a lot of the time as well is like the energy that you show up with and the narrative that you create around why now is super important in terms of why people actually decide to
Mm.
buy with you now. When people come into Cub now, like, of course, people are going to say to me, well, I'm keen. It sounds great, but like, it's the end of the year. I'm not really going to get involved. Like, I'd rather join in February. Okay, great. But like, I just want to let you know, this is the time when our community ramps up engagement the most. Like we have endless amounts of events. It's summer. Like we have our awards night. There's always something that you can latch onto, and like you want to create that excitement in people as to why they should do it now. And you can create that in any given time of the year. So like, there's never a best time, in my opinion. It's all about the kind of urgency that you create and the narrative that you can create. That's number one. And number two, just before I move to Harry, is it's also again it comes back to a numbers game because like if you do it with 5 people, well, yeah, it might not be the right time with 5 people, but if you do it with 500 people, the chances are somebody is going to be in need of what you do and they're in need of it now. So it comes back to that volume play because the more volume you put in, the higher chance you have of someone needing your service and needing it now. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So yeah, that would be my take on it. Harry, I'm interested to hear yours.
Well, no, that you're absolutely bang on, Calvin. Um, I would say this time of year is the worst time ever to call anyone because no one's interested in buying anything and the economy's screwed and forget it. We've got no chance of selling anything ever, right? Listen, Cassandra, there's no such thing. Just so you know, the time myth is a myth.
Mm.
Okay, and I'll give you an example. I remember I remember when I started my business, I only targeted real estate agents. because at the time I was working in real estate and I was training them. So I only target them. I remember one day doing a cold calling session on a Wednesday and no one answered. So you know what my head told me? You know what the myth was? Oh, they're all running open homes today, Harry. There's no way anyone will talk to you on a Wednesday, right? The following week on a Wednesday, I did the same thing and I booked in 11 meetings. Okay. So listen, this is our greatest enemy, this and this. So what corrects these? Process, the numbers that Calvin's talking about, the science. They don't lie. Get through it. That's why I'm giving you this guarantee. Get through it. Do the calls every day and see what happens. If you fail miserably, we can re-strategize. But I know for a fact what's going to happen. You will not fail. Because people, I work with people who make phone calls at 7:30 a.m. cold. I have people that make phone calls at 8 p.m. cold. And I have some people at the middle of the day that say to me, Harry, I can't call them during lunchtime. That's rude. Now, have a guess which one is not really successful. Do you get my point?
Says it's rude. Yeah, okay.
Correct, right?
That's
Now,
me.
best time best time of year to call, there's no such thing.
Okay.
I promise you, listen, Cassandra, it's a very simple formula. When someone answers the phone, you have a chance. Shoot your shot. When they don't answer the phone, it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. They might be in Europe. They might be on Christmas break. They might be in the toilet. Who knows? You can't control that. What you can control is how many times you call them back. And Calvin and I, in our first discussion, or I think it was in your discussion with Roby, was talking about, well, if someone inquires to you, you have the right to call them endlessly because they came to you. Cassandra, if I sent you an inquiry, said, hey, Cassandra, I've heard great things about Dream Big Marketing. I want to work exclusively with you. And I left you my number. You have every right to call me 50 times, right? Whereas if I don't answer and your mind starts kicking in and going, oh, it must be the worst time of year. He doesn't have budget for it. It's not going to work out, etc. You're validating reasons why. So time is a myth. Just do it. Get through the numbers, get through the volume. And then when you fail, which you won't, then come back to me and say, hey, Harry, it didn't work. Is there something else we can try? But I think it's a myth. And just one last thing on the point Calvin made around selling with a scarcity, were you talking about, or urgency?
Yeah,
Selling with.
urgency, creating
All right.
urgency.
Creating urgency for you is easy, Cassandra, because you have the second lever of negotiation. And negotiation's only about two levers, urgency and scarcity. Now, do you know what your scarcity is? It's time. So you can leverage the urgency through your scarcity. You basically say to him, hi, my name's Cassandra. We work for Dream Big Marketing. Our objective is to work with 20 clients and only 20 clients because we deliver quality, not quantity. Now, currently we have 18 clients and I'm meeting with another 4 to select the last 2 I want to work with. There is no pressure on you whatsoever. But when we have the coffee, I want you to know that I will be selecting 2 of 4 because I can't fit anyone else. Okay? Why do we
Yeah.
have to offer a discount? We don't,
Yeah, I
right?
wouldn't discount.
We
Yeah.
don't have to anymore. And discounting works in some elements because it is a tool of urgency. So you create time-based discounts.
Mm,
But when you've got scarcity,
Hmm.
urgency becomes easy. And the great thing
mm,
about your scarcity, Cassandra, is that you're a human resource that only exists for a number of hours per day.
yeah.
It's so valuable, right? And so this is the same thing in my line of work. I'm a sales coach. I can't automate myself. People need to work with me directly. And so to work with me requires time. So when people call me and go, what do you charge? I go, well, that depends on what time I've got left if I can fit you in, which I probably can't. And they go, okay, well, forget I asked about the charge. Can you please, please, please fit me in, Harry? All of a sudden, the situation turned. I'm in control of negotiating now because I pull those levers of urgency and scarcity. And you've got this,
Mm,
Cassandra. And to prove this point, you said earlier, I have an abundance of niches that I can go after. There's so much business out there. Well, if there's
yeah.
so much business out there and you're only 2 or 3 people, then just go, how good is this? I get to cherry pick who I work with because I can only ever take on 20 clients at a time.
Yeah, it's a super important point, that because when people look at this sort of thing, like, it's very different if you're out there selling printers, and like it's a super high volume game, and it's like there's no scarcity whatsoever. So like if that's the case, like how do you create the urgency? Well, then it probably is a case of discounts, a price drop, or like we can beat this, or whatever it
Yeah.
is. But when you like you've worked out exactly how many clients you need to get to that seven figure business, and at that point you're happy, right? Well, maybe you're not when you get there, but for now you're happy. So like you can only work with X amount of people, and so like
Mm-hmm.
if they want to work with you, well, they need to give you the commitment, and they need to give you the commitment now, because if they don't, somebody else will. And I think like just to go, like me and Harry talk about this often, there's two parts to sales. There's the science, I call it the science and the art. So the science is the numbers and all this kind of stuff that we're talking about. And the art is like the ability to connect with people, ask the right questions, and so on and so forth. And just on that art side, like coming into a meeting or a phone call with that level of confidence, like I don't really need to work with you. I want to work with you because I think you're a great business. I think you're a great person. I think this could be a really good fit, but like I don't need to. That makes people want to work with you more. It's not, you're not coming off of that commission breath. You're not pushing like, and there's ways to push without coming off too pushy. But yeah, that scarcity thing I think is a super important point to take away. Super important point to take away.
I'll just add to that what Calvin said, and it's not pushing, it's pulling. Remember that, Calvin. It's
Mm,
it's pulling. And where people get it wrong with sales is they go, I need to push more. No, you don't. You need to pull more, because you need to pull clients into the value proposition you're delivering, because you have this wonderful thing, Cassandra, called a solution to their life, right? You really truly are delivering a solution. Now, just think about this. I'm a business. I have very minimal social media presence right now. It's a new concept to me. Why? Because I'm an old man and I live in the Stone Age, right? But also, I don't have time to do all this stuff. I don't have time to learn all this stuff. So along comes Cassandra, and she goes, Harry, it seems to me like your problem is you don't have much time, you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to grow it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you go, yeah. And you go, great. If I filmed, I edited, I posted, I managed, and I maintained, how would you feel? I'd be like, this is a dream come true. What is the price? And then we start talking about the next stages, right?
Yeah.
You're selling a solution to my problem. If you come to me and I'm like, Cassandra, I'm all good. I've got this, and it costs me nothing. I don't have a problem. You say, well, thanks for your time, Harry. Have a wonderful day. And you move on. There is
Yeah.
no
Okay.
pushing in sales. There is only solutions that you solve. And if we just niche down to what we talked about today, if you only called family law firms in Australia, you'll get these clients within 4 weeks guaranteed. I promise you. But the great thing about you is you have an abundance of opportunity out there to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just been the process that I haven't really known what to do or, yeah, where to go for it, to be
All
honest.
right. So
Because,
then
yeah.
I was going to say, so let's roll this out then. Let's
yeah.
make this
Hmm.
the experiment. And you know what? We could even reconvene on a discussion like this in 4 or 5 weeks, right? Let's give it a time frame. Let's give it 4 weeks. So
Okay.
so let's try and
It,
start it this week if we can, or we start it next week and we go a
yeah.
4 week process.
Okay.
Okay, this is all you need to do, Cassandra, and nothing else. We're going to develop
Hmm.
a dialogue, which is a
Hmm.
one pager, 4 parts.
Yeah.
Okay. Introduction, hook, pitch, and walk away offer. I'll help you do this
Yeah.
outside of this discussion,
Okay.
right?
Cool.
One pager. Separate to that, we're going to go into our calendar. For the next 4 weeks, we are going to find half-an-hour blocks on every day for the next 4 weeks. They don't have to be
Hmm.
recurring, they can be different dependent
Hmm.
on your schedule and your commitment to clients. And the third thing we're going to do is allocate a time to extract data or data mine to the number we need based on the calls. All right.
Okay. Hmm.
That's all we're going to do. And if you
Okay.
follow through on these things, if you do this for the next 4 weeks, you make the calls using the dialogue with the data you've collected during the time you need, we'll reconvene in 4 weeks and you'll either say to me, Harry, I can't believe what happened. Or you'll come to me and go, Harry, you are a fraudster. This is all a load of crap.
If it doesn't work, it's me, not you.
Well,
I'm
well,
always.
it's not, because it will work. It
Mm.
it never not works, if that makes sense. It
Yeah, I get
always
you.
works. Because remember, we're just playing the numbers here, Cassandra.
Mm.
10 calls a day, 4 people answer, one will say, yes, I will meet with you.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
all we're looking for. You get one per day. Over 5 days, there's 5 meetings. Over
Mm,
4 weeks, there's 20 meetings.
mm,
20 meetings will give you 17 signed clients based on what you told me. Now,
mm,
let's say, worst case scenario, you sign at 50%
mm.
and you get 10 clients. Happy days.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there's an important point here as well, and I totally agree. I think if you take this away, just this, what Harry just mentioned there from this conversation, and you do that consistently over a month, that the results will be astronomical. But I think that the very important point to take away here as well is because you haven't had this process in place, I would assume, and I might be wrong, but I don't think you have the right data yet to know
Mm,
exactly where your close rates are and where your show rates are. So what'll happen over the, and this is important for like anyone who's trying to do this, like what'll happen over the course of a month or 2 months or 3 months is you'll start to get an exact gauge of like, okay,
mm,
if I book 10 meetings, 7 of those meetings show up,
Mm,
and 3 of those meetings that show up sign with me. And you've got accurate data over like a 2 or 3 or 4 month period to actually work off. And once you have that accurate data, like then it literally just becomes a numbers game. Then we were talking about being a salesperson, not being a salesperson, like then that goes completely out the window. Because
mm,
if you have like the accurate data and you stick to those numbers every single month, like yeah, it might like go up or down, give or take, here and there, but you will be pretty steady if you
yeah.
do the work consistently. Like that's really the game. And like when I'm talking to my sales team, like the biggest thing that salespeople have to overcome is their emotions. Because if you're doing like a monthly sales cycle and you're working hard, but you're not winning, the deals aren't coming through, like then the stress comes in. When the stress comes in, then the confidence goes down and it's a whole big kind of spiral. But if you know your numbers and you stick to your numbers, I promise you will get the results. Like it's
Yeah.
not, it's a scientific fact. So emotion goes out the window if that's the
Mm,
case. So I would just say, like, just to kind of wrap that point up, I love what Harry's doing, and I think, like, again, astronomical results if you do it. But most importantly, I think you'll get great data off the back of that, which will allow you to do it more kind of
yeah.
effectively. Does that make sense?
100%. I think the first thing I said when you asked me about the rates was like, I don't think that I can apply what I've
Yeah,
been doing to it because I haven't had a process. I just know that this 2 steps works, but I don't know how to scale it. I don't know what that's like if it's not a warm sort of person coming into it, like if it's someone cold. Like, so I do think that even just from my own knowledge, it would be beneficial because eventually, if this is the avenue or the process that I implement to grow the business, I don't want to be the only one doing it. Like, I'd
hmm
rather have someone else fucking doing this shit, and I'm actually out there doing other BD, like business development stuff,
100%.
Or like I get someone else in and we do it together and we tag team. You know what I mean? Like, eventually, that I think that there's value in doing that. I'm just a fucking little bitch. Honestly, I'm a bit scared. I'm just
So
a
you,
bit
so
you
let
know
me
what
let
scared.
else?
me Harry, just before you
I'll
carry
do
on,
it. I'll do it, but I'm
but I
scared.
think this is important, right? Like Harry, because we had this conversation the other day. I've heard you say this multiple times. Like you've been doing this 15 years, right? How do you feel when you make a cold call still today?
I get physically nauseous and sick. I hate it. You should
It's
see
an
the sweat
important thing to
patches under
know.
my arms. Cassandra, you're human, right? Human beings do not like rejection. We do not like fear. We do not like the unknown. What we gravitate towards, our central nervous system is always trying to gravitate towards comfort. We love comfort. In fact, all of us who work hard are only working hard to attain the level of comfort. All of us. The harder you work, the more comfort you create. That's the concept. We love comfort. So all of a sudden, I'm coming to you and going, hey, Cassandra, get uncomfortable. It's not meant to be easy, but there's a trade off here. If you can get uncomfortable for 4 weeks, your business revenue is going to double. That's a fact. The only question you got to ask yourself is, how bad do I want my business revenue to double by me sacrificing half an hour of discomfort per week. And I always relate it to bodybuilding. I said, if you want to be a bodybuilder, you got to put your body through extraordinary amounts of pain consistently every day and not have any ridiculous calories, right? Or unhealthy calories. But the payoff, the trade-off in a year or two is profound. And then everyone looks at a bodybuilder and goes, geez, I wish I looked that chiseled. And you go, you don't know the pain they've gone through, the discomfort they've gone to create comfort. I still go through the discomfort myself, Cassandra. It's very normal. And what I think will help you through this process is practice. So
Yeah.
after our discussion now, we're going to exchange numbers. I want you to call me
Oh my
every
gosh.
single day, and we're going to do a quick role play over the phone. It's going to take 2 to 3 minutes. That's it.
Okay.
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 And we're just going to practice and practice and practice. When I got into
Okay.
sales, I practiced on my stuffed animals at home and in the mirror endlessly,
Yeah.
right? And it's so funny because today, when I was coaching someone, I was telling him a story about my first ever sale. And I said, I still remember the process. And I pulled out a piece of paper and sold him this product, writing upside down on a piece of paper facing him. And then I said to him at the end, I said, I learned this in 2011 or 20, whatever it was. And I still memorize it. Why? The muscle memory of repetition and practice is profound. And so I want you to, and this is a great point Calvin makes. The process is critical, but the practice of the process is just as critical. And so if you
And
nail that, you'll get it.
yeah, and I totally agree. And I would just add to that, like, just to kind of, to again give some kind of comfort. Like Harry still feels that way. He just told you the story about when he first started. Like when I first started, I started selling into Cub. It was the first sales job I ever had. This was 6.5, 7 years ago now. And I I would I was so nervous, like so nervous, I would have physical panic attacks in my meetings, like actual panic attacks in my meetings to the point where I had to excuse myself. Like there were multiple times where I had to tell people, like, I've got to go to the bathroom, and like my meeting's sitting in the chair in the lounge, in the members lounge, and I'm in the bathroom literally having an uncontrollable panic attack to the point where like I can't speak, I can't breathe, I'm shaking. Like
Yeah.
it was that bad. And I guess like the point is, like, with this stuff, to Harry's point, if you just do it and then you do it again and you do it again and you do it again, you're going to be terrible to start. Like
Yeah.
it's the same as anything. Like you're going to be
Yeah.
terrible to start. But like I heard this quote. I don't know if you follow Hormozy at all.
Yeah, I do.
Everybody's following him now. But
Everyone
like
knows me.
I heard this quote, which I just think sums this up like to an absolute T. He said, like, he basically got asked the question, if all his information went away, like what would he leave people with? And he said do so much volume that it would become unreasonable for you to not be successful. Like
Mm,
just think about that for a second. Like it's so simple, but it's so true. Like if you
Mhm.
just do so much volume, the odds are way more likely that you're going to be successful than you're not. And
Yeah.
it's that simple. So I think it's just interesting to kind of go back to like when we started doing it. It gives some comfort in the fact that, and I still fucking hate cold calling today. Harry messages me at 7 a.m. every day to check my diary to make sure that there's a block there for me to actually do my cold calls, because I hate doing them. And I've got the luxury now where like I could get lazy and still win a lot of business because Cub's been around for a very long time. There's a huge database for me to work on. I've got leads coming in from LinkedIn. There's inbounds, there's referral, all that kind of stuff. Like, great, fantastic. But like, do I want to be lazy? No. And so, like, having someone like Harry push me is great. But then also just thinking to myself, like, I don't want to be a fucking bitch either.
Yeah. I
So like,
don't.
so
Yeah,
like
I do.
you want to win at the end of the day, and I think these are the things that it takes.
I want to
I
try and finish this off on a really cool story, right? When I first met Calvin, I went in for a meeting to sign up for Cub. And you know what Calvin did in his process? He had a panic attack and fell on the floor. And I'm like, and I went up to him, I'm like, dude, are you okay? Can I help? And he goes, I'll stop having a panic attack if you just sign the contract. And that's how I joined Cub.
That did not happen. I can
Great
confirm
sales
that did not
session.
happen.
You know, it's crazy because I know Calvin so well now and what he does. I can't even imagine him going through that experience
Mhm.
when he started. But it just goes to show you, Cassandra, we're human. You know,
Yeah.
we're meant to go through this journey, and you naturally
Mhm.
get better at it by doing the volume, by inspecting the data, and by following process. So
Okay. So which one of you is going to be my emergency contact for when I'm having panic
Harry's
attacks?
your man.
Sorry,
me,
I'm
No, but
making
honestly,
calls.
like I think this conversation, it's so funny that this has happened because when me and Harry did the initial podcast, we used an avatar of someone with a small marketing business who's just
Oh,
kind
really?
of like just by chance, and then this is like actually what's happened. So it's funny and like I love talking about this stuff. I could talk about this stuff all day. Harry's the same. Like you can call either of us anytime. It's what we love, you know.
mm,
It's what we love. So like, and I think there's so much more to kind of get to, and I think you and Harry should definitely have a conversation off the back of this. But I think like maybe to finish off the conversation, like Harry, why don't we just end off with like an exact kind of summary and takeaway of what you think the next step should be in terms
yeah.
of sales process.
Yeah, so it's really simple. There's those three things that we need to roll out, Cassandra, and we need to basically practice it. So it's the dialogue that you need to put into play. We need to design. There's the database we need to extract, and there is the time blocking we need to allocate. It's a really simple process. Now, usually there are more layers to this. So we talk about creating a presentation, we talk about niching down, we talk about working on your USP, your value proposition, all these things. But I think you've got them pretty well rounded. So I don't think they need to be the focus for now. There's always other enhancements that we make from a sales point of view. But if you can start with these three steps, and practice with me on a daily basis,
Mhm.
I have absolutely zero doubts that you will be able to book in really good clientele and nail your presentation. So we're going to start with those three steps. And so
Okay.
be really interested in the next few weeks when we reconvene and talk about how we found the experience, what happened. And it'll be great because there are a lot of people going to be listening and watching this that are going, oh, okay, if Cassandra can do it from a standstill and she's nervous, well, what can I do? And that's what we're trying to encourage here. Really good behaviors of business owners to just get on the phone and start calling, to start engaging with an audience that needs a solution they've got available for them. So that's the big takeaway.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
mean, I think we should do
Nervous, but
this
I'm excited.
again, actually. Well, nervous is good, right? Like nervous is good because I think that the reality of this conversation is like, and you can see it in your eyes, like you know that this is going to be good, you know,
Yeah.
like
When
yeah,
I get good, I feel like it'll be good, but I feel like I'm gonna cry every day for like 4 weeks.
call me a Harry when you're crying.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's no problem.
You're
Yeah.
like emotions, and I'm the most fucking emotional person I know. Like, but
Cassandra,
It's
you
I'm
know, they're
confident.
just words. They're just
Yeah.
words. I
I'm a
promise you
words of
what.
affirmation, love language kind
No,
of gal,
there
Harry.
we go. No, but I mean, people, they're not going to abuse you.
they
They're just going to
won't.
say, they're just going to say, I don't care. And if they do abuse you, they're just words. You just hang up and move on.
I agree
You
with
know,
Harry on this actually. Like in the 7 years that I've been doing this, I don't think I've been told to fuck off once. I genuinely don't.
Mm.
People inherently like, and this is one thing that we'll kind of finish off on, but like, and we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. One thing to remember is like you're selling to business owners. This is an important point as well, right? Like it's not just you're not just selling to anyone. You're selling to business owners, and 99.9 or 100% of business owners have been in your shoes once
mm,
upon a time. You know, they also were scared to pick up the phone and make that first phone call. And so they've been through that journey. And so when someone like you or anyone who's in business picks up the phone and actually makes the move, like most people, unless they're an absolute prick, like are at very least going to just respect the fact that you've done that because they've done it themselves. You know, so I think that's an important thing to keep in mind as well. Like most people inherently are not assholes, and even
Yeah.
if they come off as an asshole, like they haven't meant to come off as an asshole. They might just be having a bad day. They might be busy. They might be, you know, someone might have resigned that day. Someone, a family member might have passed. You actually never know what's going on in people's lives. So
yeah.
inherently, no one's like trying to be a dick. And if they are, this is the other point. if they are a dick, you don't want to work with them anyway. So you've done yourself
Yeah.
a favor by then being an asshole, you
Mm.
know? So I think that's a good kind of place for us to finish off. I mean, we could keep doing this all night, but what I think we should do is, obviously there'll be conversations had off the back of this. I think we should come back together in 4 or 5 weeks
Mhm.
and do this again, and let's just talk about the progress. And it's either going to be fantastic because you put in the work, or there's going to be some roadblocks. And I think let's just keep this going, because I think it's a really cool thing. Has this been valuable to you? I guess is the question I would ask.
Yeah, no, this has been very valuable to me. I'm very grateful for both of your time. I really appreciate it. It's not necessarily that I'm not willing to do whatever needs to be done, because I am building the business intentionally. Like I've got 2.5 years to have kids. I want 5 kids. I'm going to be pregnant for 5 years. I need to get the business to a point where I'm like, it can work without me, right? So I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to get there. I just don't know what the fuck I need to do to get there, because I've never done it before.
100%. Harry, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, my closing thoughts are stop at 3, don't have 5. I'm talking from experience.
I'm saying that, just wait till you have one. I want the Brady Bunch. I want the
Oh,
Brady
it's
Bunch.
beautiful. It's beautiful, Cassandra. I love it.
No, amazing, guys. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate the fact that this has been a very open and honest conversation. Like that's how we were gonna get the best out of it. And so, yeah, let's start executing on some of what was said here, and let's come back in 4 or 5 weeks, and we'll see how the progress has come forward.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
See you all then.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.